This is the Global News Podcast from the BBC World Service. I'm Gareth Barlow, and in the early hours of Sunday the 20th of June, these are our main stories. 500,000 people in Brazil are now known to have died with the coronavirus as the country struggles to contain a third wave. Iran's next president, the hardline cleric Ebrahim Raisi, has promised to fight corruption after winning an election in which most of his rivals were barred. Thousands of people in Poland have taken part in a parade against what they say is a rising tide of homophobia. Also in this podcast, the WHO declares Guinea free of Ebola, and trials start in Australia of a new type of COVID vaccine, which comes as a nasal spray.
The main benefits is when we give the vaccine via the same route that the pathogen or the virus gets in through, then hopefully the response will be more adept at actually stopping the virus getting in.
Also to come,
Lucas Singh of India coming on the outside lane, and Spence coming through.
India mourns an athletic hero, the flying Sikh. Thousands of Brazilians have taken to the streets to protest against the government of President Jair Bolsonaro as the country passed 500,000 COVID-related deaths and endures a third wave of the pandemic. Demonstrators chanted slogans and sported banners calling for Mr. Bolsonaro to go. These protesters said Jair Bolsonaro was playing with people's lives.
We're protesting against the genocidal Bolsonaro government that didn't buy vaccines and has done nothing to take care of its people in the last year.
The feeling here is one of indignation. We can't stand it anymore. The government is worse than the virus.
Infection numbers are increasing and intensive care units are operating close to capacity in most Brazilian states. Our America's editor, Leonardo Rocha, told me more about the pressure on Mr. Bolsonaro's government.
These demonstrations that happened across Brazil were huge, many of them very big in São Paulo, in Rio, and people with a number of demands against poverty. So there's a dissatisfaction against his government, but of course focusing on vaccines and focusing on his handling of the pandemic. And you have also to remember he's under pressure in Congress because the Senate opened an inquiry committee that has been investigating his government. And only on Friday, his current health minister and the former health minister have been placed under investigation by this committee. And the person who is in charge of the committee, the senator, said that President Bolsonaro himself might have to answer for all that has been done, all the mistakes that his government has made during this time.
And give us a sense of the impact of the government's decisions on the state of play in the country. Just how bad are things?
Well, things are really bad because now you're entering a third wave of the illness, of the pandemic. And we have to. His first health minister said the worst case scenario was 180,000 deaths. That would be the worst possible scenario. And you have now 500,000. It's the second worst in the world. The United States has 600,000, but there people have been vaccinated. And the whole thing now has focused on the vaccine. In Brazil, only 11% of the population has been fully vaccinated. And what this Senate inquiry has been finding out is that the Bolsonaro government refused to buy millions of vaccines from Pfizer and from other labs when they had the opportunity to. And the accusation against him is that that was done for political motives, for political reasons, because from the beginning of the pandemic, he dismissed it and he said the economy should remain open. So when the opportunity to buy vaccines came up, he said, no, let's go with alternative medicines, chloroquine and other medicines that he was trying to encourage. President Bolsonaro denied. He said the poor would suffer the most if the economy had been closed, and that he tried to buy vaccines. But there's a mood of despair in the country because there's no vaccines, and the number of deaths is going up again. We had in the past 24 hours, we had 2,300 deaths, and it's going up with the hospitals operating at full capacity.
Leonardo Rocha reporting. With all the ballots counted, the results of the Iranian election have come as no surprise. The conservative cleric Ebrahim Raisi won by a landslide with 62% of the vote, but on a turnout that was an all-time low. He said